Thank you so very much. You want to give exactly. Thank you, Coach Ceci. We need you to show some love in the chat room, and then just quickly put what you have learned today, what you held, what you will hold on, what you will run with, what you will run with. Some love. Put some love in the chat room. Appreciating Barrister Patience. Appreciating our Justice Mel. I am so glad. For me, this was a beautiful thing because I have listened to her. Now, it's as if to say she just gave me some form of energy to run. Next level is like an instruction for the next level that I'm going for. I love it. Yes, keep learning. Thank you, Honorable Justice Mabel. We really appreciate you. And thank you, Barrister Patience, for helping us hear this golden nugget from her today, because we have leveraged on the relationship we have with you to get that. This is what you were trying to teach. I love it. Thank you also very much. So I think we had a question in the chat, but looks like, can one resuscitate a connection made but not utilized? Because we need to ask you so you can go for your event. Let's not hold you for too long. But can one resuscitate a connection made that they did not utilize? Barrister Patience?
Okay, so I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay, my network is glitching a bit. So let me say thank you, Mama. Thank you so much for always loving us. Thank you for that powerful addition. Like, I love it so much. You just wrap up everything so powerfully. Thank you, Ma. So yes, you can resuscitate a relationship you had created. Remember, I said it initially that you don't have to wait till the day you need a relationship before you build it. So which means
Okay, so network is really glitchy. I hope that she comes back in. I really hope that she comes back in. And I love the fact that Honorable Justice Mabel, what she did, is so powerful, because that is the power of having a mentor who is very vested in your own growth. She came in to support her own mentee. Beautiful. So when you become a mentor, please do this. And when you're looking for a mentor, always look for a mentor who you are useful to, who is also vested in your own growth. Also, very amazing. So just in case she doesn't come back in, let's just give her a minute or two. Okay. Coach Ceci says building and leveraging relationships with the currency and language of the new age. Intentional, well-driven consistency is key to success in life. Thank you, our Lordship and Barrister Patience. Coach Maisie says, thank you, Honorable Justice Mabel, for those priceless words. Yes, they were priceless indeed. I will run with it. In fact, the way I'm going to eat and dissect and hold on and love on it, you will not understand, ma. Tommy only says, thank you so much for your Lordship, ma. Thank you so much, your Lordship, ma. Thank you so much. I don't know if she's back in. It's still very glitchy. It's okay, Barrister Patience. You can do us a favor, just in case it becomes quite difficult for you to get back in. So we're still on course. You can just type the response in the chat room, and I'm sure the person who asked this will be able to get back in. Will be able to read it and run with it. I think she's still trying to get in. So we'll just go for a 7 minute break. We'll go for a 7 minute break. Everybody, you can still go in, just in case you finish your water, go and grab another bottle of water, because you will need it. Imagine the kind of beautiful things that you have heard today. There are things that you need to take water to calm yourself down. So go grab a glass of water if you want to have lunch. And I want you to also know that this webinar is streamed to YouTube as well. So you can find a way to get on YouTube, just in case you're finding it difficult to get in. Hadiza says, thank you so much, Ma. The meeting was targeted on me. So impactful. Anyam Muchoma says, offer value and support. I like the fact that you are taking this. And the most important thing that I learned, kindly stay mute, please. The most important thing that I learned is, so when you take notes, Don't take notes verbatim what the person has written. Take notes that resonate with you and how you are going to apply it to your situation. That makes so much sense. Will we be getting the slides, please? We would revert on that. I think he had responded to that before. I have met many important people in my work, but I have not been deliberate about connecting with them. After what I've learned today, I will do much better going forward. Thank you so much, Barrister. Yes, yes. Our immediate past Vice President Peace Mulvey says, action notes. Yes, that's what you should take, action notes. What you will run with and how you will do better. So we'll take a 5-minute break. If we can get some music, Circa Africa, while people just, grab something to drink, grab something to eat, grab writing materials if they haven't grabbed it before, or just walk around, stretch your legs a bit, and we'll start exactly 11 o'clock. Thank you very much. Circa, over to you. Can we have some music, Circa?
Coach Taga was streaming on YouTube. We won't be able to play any music.
Okay, so we'll just go right ahead into the next session. And do we have I think our guest for the next session is already here. So I'll just introduce him and then we can go in. Coach Chiemezie Ofodum, aka Coach Maisie, is a life and premarital coach with proven track record of over a decade. He's also the founder of the Single and Ready Club, a virtual community committed to inspiring meaningful relationships and blissful marriage via deliberate training. And his topic is connecting the dots, pathway to self-reinvention. The reason why I am looking forward to this, and I really want to hear this, is because we have so many people thinking that marriage is a scam. Yesterday, I was watching the Hallelujah Challenge. I'm a Christian, so I was watching it. And in one of the comments, I saw somebody writing, I will marry once and I will stay married forever. And I realized how much that must have meant to the person. Imagine what the person has had to behold, because the things that we see, it causes fear in you. So I really look forward to listening. So Coach Maisie, it's so good to have you here. Can we have some love for him in the chat room while he gets ready and he starts in exactly 1 minute after you have shown him love? Can we have some love in the chat room, people? Thank you, Coach Ceci. You're so amazing. We have a gift for Coach Ceci, which is a clap for being the most engaging. Thank you. Thank you. So glad you're not missing out. Okay, thank you, everyone. Coach Maisie, over to you. You can unmute your mic and you can start now.
All right. Good morning, everyone. How are you doing today? I hope you all are doing great. It's a pleasure to be here. And I don't take this opportunity for granted at all. There's a lot of value we get to glean here at the OSP, and every time we have the opportunity, it's just great to use it. So this is one of such opportunities. I want to thank the speaker who came just before me, Barrister Patience, for such insight and practical wisdom. I'll be speaking about connecting the dots. You know, I had quite some challenge this topic, but I'm sure when we get around. And then, like I was introduced, I'm a life coach and marriage and family therapist and premarital coach. Basically, I operate within the family life space. And I believe that that is a very, very important place to be. I believe that it's I believe the family unit is the most important unit and institution in the world, basically because it shapes the rest of society. I mean, every human who has walked through the face of this earth, whether made a contribution positively or negatively, whether was sought after for excellence and for virtues, or was a menace to society, passed through the agency of the family. Whether parents were married or not. The main thing was it took two people to bring that person out, whether they were intentional about it or not, whether they even were expecting a child, whether they planned for a child, whether they were intentional, whatever the case, it took two people to bring that person to being. And if those two people were a lot more intentional about how they raised the child, then society will be different today. Give me a second. The call was trying to come in. Let me just quickly make sure my devices are silent. And give me a second, please. Let me quickly just send a message. It's one of my senior bosses. All right, apologies for that brief interruption. I had one of my bosses reach out. So I've dropped a message that I'm not available right now. Okay, so back to the conversation. I was just saying about talking about the importance of the family unit and why ultimately it's what is responsible for how society turns out. So today my conversation would touch some bit of you, the individual, a bit of parenting, but the whole idea is just to speak to wholeness and discovery and healing, and to make the individual, a healthier person for the society. Because the truth is, the healthier you are, the more you are able to, the better chances you have, if you're single, of identifying who's healthy for you to do life with, and the more chances you have of raising a healthy family, right? And I'm talking about emotional health right now, not just physical health. Okay, so by way of some kind of disclaimer, some of the things I would say may seem to trigger a bit, but if you feel touched in that kind of way, then maybe what I'm saying is something you should really pay attention to and listen to. But the desire ultimately is for healing, discovery, recovery, like I said earlier, and wholeness. All right. It's that kind of scenario where certain things may shine light on certain aspects of your life. Essence is not for judgment, it's for self-reflection, and then learning, and being able to find what to do, to be on the right path. All right. So all of that said, let me just get straight on into the conversation. So yeah, back then, I used to watch a lot of movies. Action movies, that's my own. Maybe a bit of thrillers and the ones that have to do with a lot of investigation and things like that. But there's something I always kept seeing, and it used to bother me then. So you discover that certain people who are selected for, if you've watched all of these movies that have to do with maybe spies or assassins and things like that, you discover that some of the kind of children who are selected for those roles, or people, adults selected for those roles, were people who had some kind of funny upbringing, a very dysfunctional one, maybe children whose parents were murdered, maybe, and then somebody says, okay, I'm going to train you, and then so that you can go and fight and avenge the death of your parents. Why are they always looking for people who are broken, people who are dysfunctional, right? Or you see that for some kind of roles, they have to look for people who have nothing to lose at all: no father, no mother, no wife, no brother, no sister, no earthly connections, just so that they can focus on the task without any emotions. And you see such people are really unemotional. They just go all out and do what they want to do. They don't care. Busting somebody's skull with a gun, with a bullet, they really don't care. No emotions, just. And I was wondering, there are other cases where maybe someone is a serial criminal, and then maybe a rapist or murderer or something, and then when they are arrested and tried, you hear things like, oh, I was molested as a child, oh, I was abused by my father, oh, I was abused, and you hear some of those stories, As a child, then I'll be wondering, what kind of excuses are these ones? Why is it that until they catch you now, you start saying, no, because something happened to me when I was small, something happened to me when I was small, right? But with time and with growing in knowledge and all that, I began to understand the connection between childhood and adulthood. I began to see how that a lot of people are living as adults, yet still dragging with them the issues and the wounds and the dysfunctions from childhood. I began to discover that people could be in their 50s and process certain aspects of their reasoning as 5-year-olds, for real. I mean, I've witnessed cases in the workplace and stuff like that, where you see people who are seniors on the job, high flyers, commanding, very high level conversations. But then in other aspects of their behavior, you see them reason in a way that you say, the last time I behaved like this, I was 7 years old. Or, it was a 9-year-old child I saw do this kind of thing. Why is this man or woman behaving like this? And then I got to understand the significance of some of the things we experience at childhood and how it shows up when we're much older. So in my practice as a therapist, I've come to see people who just tell you things like, just forget it. This is who I am. This is how I am. If you don't like it, just forget about it. Somebody has said before to me that I can't do anything about it. This is how my life is. I've heard another lady say to me one time that anybody that cannot take me like this should just take a walk. This is what I'm not about to. I'm not changing for anybody. This is me. And I'm talking about people who are manifesting very unhealthy and toxic behaviors, So what happened? What's the reason for this? One, some people don't even know that the traits they have are unhealthy. They don't know. They feel like it's just okay, right? Now, there are those who know that it's unhealthy, but they have no idea how to fix it. Some may have tried once or twice and it didn't seem to work. And then that's why they resort to, this is how I am. Oh, please just take me like this because I'm helpless. Why there are those who know it is unhealthy, don't bother trying to fix it because they just enjoy the level of control or whatever it is that they enjoy, that they benefit from being that kind of person. All right. So what I'm saying today, we'll dig into certain aspects of our growing up, of our childhood at different points. If you're someone who has identified certain areas of your life, maybe from feedback from people who have told you that this particular thing, you need to fix this, you need to fix this, and then you've been wondering how. Sometimes the challenge is you don't know how to advance fixing that thing because you don't even know what the origin of it is. That's where the challenge is for many people. They want to do better, but every time they think they're trying something, but it's not solving it. The next time there's a challenge, they fall back to that same negative or toxic behavior they're trying to avoid. And what am I talking about? The fact that they are attending to the fruits and leaving the root. The root is what produces the fruits. If you go and cut off the leaves and cut off the fruits, so because those roots are still connected to life and to the source of nourishment, it's just a matter of time. There will be new leaves shooting out. There will be new fruits being created. You see, so that is why, when you see people who have unhealthy behaviors and you advise them, it's not an advice thing for many. It's not because they don't know that, I heard someone say to me that, oh, I know that when I'm angry, they say I should count 1 to 10 first. Then when I finish counting, I would have calmed down. He said, I know that they say I should do it. But why should I be counting 1 to 10 when I can give this person a dirty slap? You see? So they know that they know that there is something to do, but they lack the very essence and motivation that will empower them to carry out that thing, because they just think that my natural response should be good and fine and everybody should just accept me the way I am. But this is what I want to say. The human being is not a helpless being. The human is not helpless. You say, oh no, I've been so battered, I've been so I was raised in dysfunction and all of those kind of things, and this is just who I am now, this is how I've come to live my life, everybody should accept me like that, as though you're helpless. The human being is not helpless, because there's a dominion mandate that was spoken over mankind in creation, right? Every human on the face of the earth has the same dominion: be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, subdue it. All right, so every human has dominion over all that God has created, except over other human beings. All right. So that means that you have the ability in you to change and recreate your circumstances, to recreate even yourself, because you're a creator. You see, so realizing this, sets the tone for the rest of what we're going to say. Because when we talk about reinvention, where I'm going to at the end of this is actually, becoming a new person, becoming a better person, becoming a whole person, right? But to go there, we first need to appreciate and understand where we are here. All right, there's no there without here. All right, to begin to go on any journey, you always have to start from where you are. The challenge is that many people are not able to dissect and understand what has contributed to bringing them right where they are. So they struggle with how to move forward. And those are the dots that we're going to be speaking to. So when we talk about reinventing yourself, we're talking about a fundamental shift in your beliefs, in your habits, in your behavior, in your mindset, in your career, practically creating a different version of you that aligns more closely with your values and your passions and ultimately your long-term vision of life. All right. And this will only come, when you have realized that there's a kind of positive discomfort I feel, right? I feel like I'm not optimizing myself. I feel like I could be better. I feel like I'm struggling with certain habits or certain patterns that are unhealthy and are drawing me back. For goodness sake, I have had several relationships and they always fail at a particular point, and they always complain about the same thing, something about my attitude, something about the way I speak, something about my inability to open up and be emotionally available and stuff like that. And you're wondering, I need to get out of all this because I really desire a beautiful life for myself. Yes, if you're that kind of person who has questions, right, about certain things about yourself, then the topic and the conversation about reinvention is for you. Why? Because when we talk reinvention, one thing we're saying is that you have to let go of the old. And what is that old I'm talking about? Those limiting beliefs, those things that tell you that you're helpless, those patterns that are toxic, those unfulfilling routines. You find yourself seemingly trapped. Sometimes it's even a career. You just feel trapped. You wake up every morning with burden, with pain in your heart for this thing. Like, what is all this? Why do I have to be here? Every time you show up at the office, you feel sick. Every time it's Friday, you suddenly feel better. Monday, that thing comes again, and you're just wondering, I'm tired of all this. I'm saying that you can actually reinvent. All right. So you need to be open to change. You need to be willing to embrace new experiences, new ideas, new perspectives, and ultimately building new habits that will take you to where you want to be. Anyway, so that said, when we talk about human behavior, at some point I was just generally reading and studying up, because of questions that I get to face in my therapy room. Why do people feel like they're helpless? Why do people just struggle, with certain behaviors? You have somebody who is a nice person, is a great person, but struggles with anxiety, cannot trust anybody. No matter, somebody even said that even if it's Jesus Christ that marry you, you will still have problem with him, and you're wondering, why am I like this? All right. So I was reading through different models or theories of human behavior, but there's a particular one that really stuck with me, and it kind of explains, it offers a kind of explanation to the questions that I had in my heart. So that's what I'll be sharing about. And I'm talking about the Erik Erikson stages of psychosocial development of humans. All right. Yeah. So it may sound a bit academic, but just flow with me. My work is to make it less and less academic. So, so just flow with me. Yeah. So, Erik Erikson, one of the celebrated psychologists, of the 20th century, great guy. Was born 1902, lived through till 1994. One of the things he's known for was coining that term identity crisis. But he shared something very phenomenal on psychosocial development of humans. And basically, what's the idea? What he opined was that there are 8 stages of the human development. And each of these stages are characterized by a crisis that must be resolved if this human must grow up healthy and, emotionally and psychologically healthy, right? So what he's saying is that through all these stages, if you don't know these things and they are not properly resolved, they're not properly handled, you may end up becoming a dysfunctional individual as an adult. Meanwhile, what has created that are events from childhood. All right. And as I go into it, we'll begin to, I'll talk about all the stages one by one, and then tie it all up within the time we have. So the first stage from infancy, from 0 to 18 months, this stage is called the infancy stage. And then there are questions in the heart of the baby. There are questions in the heart of the child at this stage. All right, I want you to follow me very closely. I'll try to run through this. This can be a very long conversation. So I will just try to do it as quickly as I can. There are questions in the heart of the child from when they are born. And that question is about this new environment they're in. Can I trust this place? Is it safe to be here? Don't forget they're coming out of their mother's womb where everything was supposedly in order. They didn't have to cry for food. It was supplied, from source, right? The environment was a contained environment, energy, pressure, temperature, everything was automatically regulated, right? Yes, they could hear sounds and all of that, but not harsh enough to really upset them. But now that baby is coming out into the world, and the first thing that baby is seeing is all these lights, like, what's going on? Why is this place so bright and different? The energy is different. The atmosphere is different. The pressure in the atmosphere is different, and then you're hearing voices much louder now. All those voices you used to hear as just some mumblings, right? Right there in the womb. Now the baby is hearing them. The doctors, nurses, everybody's happy. Hey, he said, boy, he said, again, no, everybody's happy. The child is wondering, what's going on here? What's all this? What's all this? What's all this? And the child is still trying to get a hold of what is going on. And that is why immediately after those initial stages, when the child is taken out of the womb and cleaned up and all of those things, immediately the child has to be with the mom so that very quickly the child can identify the mother. Okay, this is where I came from. Yes, it's familiar. I know this smell. I know this body. All right, it's familiar. And from that moment already, the bonding begins to start. That is why at this stage, it is very important that the parents, the caregivers of this child are not just physically available, but are also emotionally available. All right. I read about I can't remember where I came across this, but a study or a research that was done in a particular nursery where babies were kept. Some of them, unfortunately, their mothers didn't make it, and then the ones who had their mothers around, right? So there was this set of babies who were always crying. These other ones will cry a bit and stop, and then these ones will cry, and then they'll be attended to. And then someone was asking, why are these ones crying, non-stop, while these ones cried a bit and stopped? Now, they said those ones that kept crying, they knew that if they cry long enough, somebody will call them. Somebody will pick them up, take them to their mom, and they'll be taken care of. But those other guys who cried for a bit and stopped had noticed that even when they cried, no one seemed to come for them, or maybe one nurse would just eventually come, tap you, touch you in a kind of way, just make sure you're okay, drop you back, but it wasn't personal. Right? So guess what? As infants, they had already known that there is something about this world out here where people don't really care about me that much. So there's no need to cry. I cry as much as I can. If nobody answers, I keep quiet and just stay there, helpless. And I'm telling you that when children at that stage notice that the environment is not offering the love and comfort they need, what that does to them is it begins to sow in them, seeds of mistrust and insecurity about this world, right? While on the other hand, that one whose the parents are always there, they're loving up and them, carrying them, playing with them, they know that, okay, this is a safe place. I am wanted here. I am loved here, so there is hope for them. They are happy, they know that all I just need to do is call and somebody will answer. You see, and it's so interesting that newborns, have such great way of picking up signals from the environment. And this is very critical because some people think that the most important point in your life is adulthood. Well, it has its specs, but I also believe that for the development of a human, the most important stages are infancy, toddlerhood, just those basic growth levels where your worldview is still needing to be formed and shaped in a way that will set you up for greatness and healthy emotional experience of life, right? So basically, those infants, they're asking the question, can I trust this world? Can I trust these people? If they receive love and care and responsiveness from their caregivers, they know that, oh, the world is a secure place. But if the ones who today the caregiver is there, tomorrow the caregiver is not there. 1 minute the caregiver is there, but is not giving them care, shouting at them, keep quiet, stop shouting, child is wondering, what did I do to you? Why what's happening? You don't want me, you don't like me, right? So what happens to those kind of children is that they begin to become fearful, avoidant. Everything you read about insecure attachments, that's where it starts being formed. That's where the experience starts. All right. And then these are the kind of children who grow up very careful about the world because they don't trust any other person. They only know themselves. So you see this person as a teenager, they don't have time to be jumping up around with everybody. They mind their business. It's not because I'm a very quiet person. No. It's not I'm an introvert. No, it is that seeds of distrust or mistrust and insecurity have been sowed in their lives right from infancy, that the more they go around life, all they know how to do is protect and look after themselves because they don't trust these people. Why? Because very importantly, the kind of care an infant receives from childhood goes a long way to determine the outcomes of their life, especially as it has to do with their relationships, whether professionally or maritally. Yeah, is that important? If you have time, you can read up on your own and have more conversations around the subject matter of attachments and all of that. But you see it, that primary experience from when they are born, that they have from whether father, mother, or whether it's caregivers, right? If it's not their direct parents, right? That space, whatever happens there, is a big predictor of what the rest of that child's life will be in adulthood, because it has to do with human relationships, especially. All right, let me move on because of time. All right, so if you're someone who finds it hard to trust people, you just naturally consider everybody to be guilty until they prove themselves innocent. You just suspect everybody. You don't just, for no reason. If you're that kind of person, or you know somebody who is like that, it is most likely that from infancy they had started to experience those insecure attachments. All right. So if a child successfully goes through this stage, what happens to them? One, they build healthy self-esteem and relationships. They're not afraid to meet people. They're not afraid to start up conversations. They're not afraid to introduce themselves to people. Those are the children you see that are free to just run and go and hug people they've not met anywhere. For a child, an infant or a toddler, to be so careful about their environment and who they're talking to, already it means that something has happened from infancy. All right, let me move on. Now, what happens if that child is not does not get the virtue of trust? Such a child begins to struggle from anxiety, depression, and aggression much later in life. All right, you discover that there are adults who are not able to initiate, personal relationships. There are people who you guys are friends, they like you like them, everything is going well, but the moment you start coming close, they push you away. Don't get close. No. Why are you asking me about what's your business with my personal life? Hey, stay away. They don't want that. Even in their marital relationships. Time will fail me to get into that, but let me move on because we have a lot more. I will just run through the others. I'm taking time to emphasize this, the next one, which is the stage 2 and stage 3. The other ones, I'll just gloss through them. Now, this stage 2 is the toddler stage. All right, between 18 months to 3 years. And then here, the psychosocial stage that the child is in is one where they have to grapple between autonomy and shame. And what's happening here is the child is asking the question, is it okay to be me? Can I do things by myself? What typically happens at this stage? Now they're toddlers, they're crawling around, they're walking. I know, not crawling now, by now they're walking, right? Writing on the wall, all over the place, scattering things, trying to lift up things that are heavy, picking up things, just trying everything, imitating you, anything you do, they do, anything you say, they say. You know, what's happening at this stage is that they're learning to interact with the world. You know, it's exciting to see that there's such newness and such opportunities around them. They want to try out everything. But what do we do as parents? This is the stage where you're always shouting at them, stop, no, calm down, drop it, leave it, stop. No wonder one of the first things that these children learn to say is no, because it's this first thing that they always hear. No. Okay, no, don't, stop. Right now, this is also the stage where they start learning, you know, potty training and all that, how to ease themselves properly, you know, to stop maybe bedwetting, and if you're taking them off diapers and stuff like that, you know. So at this stage, their self-consciousness is starting to, they're beginning to recognize, you know, certain things around how people respond to them. So if every time they pee on themselves, you shout at them, you beat them, you call them names, you know, all of those things you do, and say it's just a child, it's being registered there, there's a memory center in the brain, take notes, and the child is taking in all of this. And the child is asking himself, maybe they don't really want me here. Maybe they don't really like me. Maybe, like, what exactly is wrong? Of course, they don't even know what they're doing, right? Even when they give you that dirty slap and you're wondering, how can you slap? The child really doesn't know. They've not learned to properly regulate their emotions, right? And they're taking cues from you. So when they do that thing, the way you respond to them, you know, further teaches them how to do it. So, for example, your child hits you in a way you don't like, you hit the child back. What do they do most times? They hit you again. All right. So you have to show them the way it should be. You are the adult, they are the children, right? So you need to show them what should be. All right. And you need to also learn that there are healthy alternatives to shouting and hitting and yelling and all of those things that we were naturally conditioned to know as the way to treat children. Anyway, I need to move on very quickly, right? So the child is at this point asking, is it okay to be me? Can I just be myself? And as you're scattering all those things, if you allow them be, what happens is that they are learning to express themselves. So I'm saying, but if you leave them, they will hurt yourself. That's why you, the adult, should be the one to ensure that the place is relatively safe enough for infants and toddlers. All right. And then you only restrain them when it's like they're going to the edge or they're going to do something that could hurt them. But you don't leave dangerous items around and say, he will hurt himself. No, why did you leave it there? All right. So you ensure the place is safe enough for them. Now, you discover that when children are allowed to be that expressive, okay, it builds on the confidence they had first. So let me say something about all of these stages. They're all connected. And then when you successfully navigate one stage, it grows on to the next stage. It shows in the next stage. When you don't successfully learn how to handle it, all right, it also shows. So if you are getting if you are being healthily developed or unhealthily developed emotionally, it is showing, and psychologically, it's showing in the next phase. All right. So you always carry it over like that, you know. So this person who's a toddler now, who already has trust at home, knows what love is, knows what acceptance is, it begins to impact on their self-esteem. Now they add expression to it, and they are allowed to be themselves. They are allowed to have a will. You know, this is the point where they start developing that willpower. Okay, and that's why sometimes you tell them to do something, they tell you, no, I don't want to do it. You know, now you can send them on an errand and they choose to go or not to go. You know, they're developing will. But what happens when they are not allowed to develop, you know, when they're not rather encouraged to be expressive? You start raising an adult who is hesitant, who is repressive, people who don't know how to articulate what they really need, because the few times they did that as children, they were shouted down at, they were told to keep quiet, they were subdued, you know. So they have very poor social skills when they grow up. They are the kind of people who don't know how to enforce their boundaries. Everybody takes advantage of them. You see this person as an adult, you say, but now fine boy and a fine girl. Why they do like who no get sense? It's because from childhood, that expression has been damaged. Even as adults, they still hear the voices of their parents and caregivers shouting them down. They want to try something, they say, oh, Vasabi, I too know. Well, you know, sit down my place, you know. So they don't attempt anything. And this feeds on to the next stage, which is the preschooler stage. All right, between 3 years to 5 years. Basically, now they have started school. All right, and then what happens? The psychosocial development at this stage is the initiative versus guilt. What's happening at this stage now is they've started school. Before they even start school, They're already at the stage now where they want to know why. They're asking questions about everything. They're very curious. Of course, they learn by interacting with the environment and copying what you're doing. So they're following you step by step, asking questions, engaging you, talking, just talking and blabbing. And sometimes parents get tired of this and they start shouting them down. Now they have gone to school, they see other people like them, they are happy to meet other people, but then you see subconsciously they are just checking out other people, and before you know, they begin to notice that these other people have crossed certain milestones that they haven't crossed, right? So they either feel confident if they feel like they are better than their peers, or they are at par with their peers, or they start feeling somehow if there are other people who are a lot more expressive than they are. So you see, that thing that was introduced since infancy is being developed stage by stage, stage by stage. If they were confident, if they had love from childhood, right now that they are preschoolers between 3 to 5 years, their confidence level is high. You see, but if they were not healthily developed, then right now their self-confidence level is dropping. They can't take initiative because they always have to be told what to do, because they're not sure that if they try something, it will be accepted or it will be good enough, right? So now they always have to depend on their caregivers. That father, that mother always has to be there. You see, and this is where parents think that they're helping their children, but unfortunately, they're not helping them to develop properly. What do I mean? You are always doing stuff for them, always stopping them from trying out new things. You want them to always be careful. Sometimes they're playing rough play. Allow them to play that rough play. Just ensure that the environment is relatively safe. All right. But you stop them from trying everything. Guess what? The moment they go out and they see that their friends are jumping tables and doing all of those things, hanging on ropes and doing all of those things for boy children, and they cannot, because if they try, they remember that you will shout at them, you will give them a knock on their head, you will flog them with cane, give them dirty slap. So that thing stops them from trying out. How does this show up in adulthood? You see some adults who don't know how to take initiative for anything. They know what to do, they know it is right, but they just need somebody to push them. They need somebody to start first and hold their hands. They will tell you, oh yeah, come now, come, let's go. Yeah, you go, you talk. I will be standing with you. I will go, I will support you. Why can't they? They know it's the right thing to do. These people are driving, they get to traffic light. Of course, red means stop, they stop. Green means go. You should go, right? But they are checking, are people moving? It's like people are not even moving. Until people are honking, pom, 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 especially if they're the ones at the front. Oh, are you okay? Now they now know that, okay, yes, I should move. They just lack initiative. They're not sure of themselves. Why? Because when they got to this stage of their development, what they felt there was guilt, not initiative, because they were not encouraged to try. They were shut down, they were repressed, suppressed, and then they, instead of becoming expressive, they rather learned to just be hesitant in life and hold back their feelings. So these are the kind of people who would lack, a sense of direction, because you just always want somebody to confirm that it's okay. Is it correct? Should I go ahead? Oh yeah, you go first. I will join you. All right. There are people that will never accept leadership position, even if they are the best for the role. They'll be turning down. No. Hey, I like to support from behind. It's not humility, or if you think it's not humility, anything. It's because deep down there's a feeling of self, insufficiency. I can't do this. I can't handle it. Will I even know what to do? And this thing shows up in marriage. Time will fail me to touch all the expressions of this, because I'm really just watching my time and running very quickly, right? These are people who will not start anything of their own. They will rather stay in paid employment, even if they know there is a desire for business, but they just keep it safe. Let me work where they pay me salary. It can pay my house rent. It can take my child to school. Leave me like that. But they know that they can do more, but they just stay in this cocoon. All right. Now let me move on to the next stage, which is the stage 4, which is now the proper school stage between the ages of 5 to 12. All right. And then here, what they are battling is industry versus inferiority. Don't forget, all of these stages are connected. If they got it healthy at the beginning, it strengthens and keeps strengthening and keeps strengthening. If it was faulty at the beginning, it keeps building up like that, all right, towards adulthood. Now, the question they're asking at this stage is, can I make it in the world of people and things? How can I be good? All right. And what's happening at this stage is, they are preteens now. Okay. So of course, they spend a lot of time in school among their peers. So now they're beginning to compare themselves with others. They begin to feel less accomplished or more accomplished, depending on the people that are around them, And then what happens is if they are raised in an environment where they are properly nurtured, you will discover that they are able to build confidence, face the academics, conquer challenges. You know, there's that confidence that builds competence in them, right? They're able to tackle things and they don't feel like I'm not unable to do it. Even if they don't know how to do it, they'll have the courage to say, give me time, let me learn it, I'll come around. I'm sure you know children that are like that. The flip side is no self-confidence, academic problems, even when you know they are bright children. You know this thing. Why can't you express yourself? Why can't you just pass this exam? You're not a dull child. But you see, many times it's the confidence they lack that makes them not able to express themselves, even when they know the correct answers. All right. And then as adults, it begins to show us anxiety, of course, low self-esteem, depression, and general feelings of inferiority. Okay, these are the kind of people who may be the best in their department at work, yet they are the most timid. They are the ones who will not get promotion. Why? Because beyond that capacity for the job, they lack the confidence and the body language that emulates leadership. All right, so they are the ones that everybody will be sending errand. They are the ones that everybody will be dumping work on. How now? I know you will do this for me, right? Okay, just help me attend to it, and then before you know, you are not sleeping because you cannot say no. You can't say no. No confidence. You feel like by doing all of these things, you get accepted. People will like you. So this is deep. Let me just move on. Now, for the other ones, I won't explain them, but these are somewhat foundational, right? And then they get to teenage. That's the 5th stage. And then the question they're asking themselves in teenage is, who am I and who am I becoming? All right, what can I be? Now they're thinking more of career, they're thinking more of identity. All right, but unfortunately, you see that child who wasn't securely developed from infancy, maybe the parents were not physically or emotionally available, or they were on and off, or the child witnessed a lot of violence in the home, there was no love and things like that. Now this child is a teenager. Guess what? They are not talking to their parents. This is when they become strangers to parents. This is when parents start, and they think it is by shouting and beating. You see your daughter standing with a boy by the junction, you give her a dirty slap. You see your son talking with one girl, you bring him home, you beat him, you torture him, and you think that is what will restrain them. You don't know that you're already a stranger to them. In fact, they are waiting for the best opportunity to just get out of the house. You see, what happened is that, remember, it's been building up. All right. Let me not emphasize that. Now, on the positive side, more self-esteem, stronger interpersonal relationships, increased creativity, increased academic performances, increased interpersonal relationships among themselves. What happens at this stage is that the virtue they are supposed to develop at this stage is fidelity, because this is what they're going to be needing in the next stage of their lives. All right. Now, with that fidelity, we're not just talking about staying faithful to a spouse. Of course, they don't have spouse yet, but they are learning the virtues of pure relationships. The reason a lot of people in this age don't know that man and woman can be friends and they are not being romantically involved is because of the dysfunction that has been sowed from childhood. So they feel like once a girl is around me, it must be relationship. Once a boy says you are fine, I love you too. You see? And then that virtue of fidelity has not been nurtured properly there. But when they are wholesome, when they know who they are, they know they are loved, they have a sense of direction and all that, they also know that it's possible to just be friends with someone, looking out for their welfare without demanding anything in return from them. But unlike that child who was raised with insecure attachments, the moment you say, I love you, what they're thinking of is, what do they want from me? And what they're thinking of is, what can I get out of this person? Because it has to be transactional. Nobody has ever loved them unconditionally. All right. Like I said, time will fail me to get into the others, but I'll just touch it quickly as I wrap up. Okay. So there's young adulthood between 18 to 40. All right. And then if they had learned fidelity at the teenage stage, now it's easy out of their pure and healthy friendships to identify a life partner, because at this stage, they're thinking about love, long-lasting love. They're thinking about settling, as it were. This is middle, they're just getting into adulthood. Okay, so they're thinking about long-term things now. I want to focus on my life, my career, and stuff like that. So the one who finds love enjoys intimacy. The The one who doesn't find love feels isolated, or right, begin to feel like maybe something's wrong with me. People really don't like me. You've heard people say stuff like, I really don't get it right with relationships. I don't know what's wrong. That is exactly what's going on there. And then that's the 8 stages, okay? And the summary of all of this is that those experiences you had as an infant were very key to determining what adulthood was going to look like. And if you're someone who has gotten to the point where you look back on your life and you just wonder, I feel like I'm not my best self. If any of these things I've shared has resonated somehow with you, now what can you do? Because we're talking about reinvention. Let me wrap up with that within the next minute or two. We're talking about reinvention. Now you have identified it. What you have seen is that, wait, it's not because I necessarily am a bad person or I lack the ability to, but somehow something about the way I was raised, something about the environment I grew up in, something about my upbringing has molded me into this kind of person that I am today. One thing I enjoy doing when I'm talking with some adults who tell me things like, I'm shy, I tell them, no, you're not shy. And I go ahead to prove it to them that they're not shy. It was along the line they picked up timidity because of certain experiences in their lives. And then for some, it's like that light bulb moment and boom, they are delivered, they are set free, as it were, So if you're that person now, what I want to say about this is you need to understand that there are stages of your life that you were not responsible for. You did not choose that. You didn't choose your parents. You didn't choose the experiences under which they raised you up. You didn't choose to be born in a home where they were fighting and quarreling all the time. All of those things that happened, you did not choose the school you went to where they were bullying you or where you learned all of those vices. You didn't choose that. You didn't determine all of that. At that stage of your life, you were the recipient of all of this. You could not determine anything for yourself. But from the point of realization, the onus now becomes on you. The responsibility is now yours to say, wait a minute. Does it mean that this part of my life I am not enjoying, I can do something about it? My answer is yes, you can. All right. So first, forgive yourself from all of those things that happened that you were not responsible for. It was not your fault that as a child, they brought one uncle to the house who molested you. You didn't cause that. It was not your fault that you grew up in an environment that was very hostile and you couldn't help it, joining bad gang. And initially, it was not your fault. You didn't choose that environment for yourself. I remember as children, sometimes you just wonder, why is my father not that rich man that I watch on TV? Why is Dangote not my father? Why is Bill Gates not my father? Why, you just, you didn't choose all that. From the moment of realization, what you're saying to yourself is, how can I pick up myself from here and reinvent? Okay, so now basically, what kind of person do you want to be? What kind of picture do you desire for yourself? Do you believe it is possible? Then now you need to go back to that past if you've been able to identify where this dysfunctional behavior came from, and then you need to forgive yourself from that. Okay, yes, you need to forgive yourself, both the things you were not responsible for and then the few ones that course you were responsible for by your wrong decisions and associations and things like that as an adult who was responsible for their actions, right? You need to also forgive yourself from it. Okay, to forgive yourself means that you have accepted it. Oh, this is what it is. I am not a nice person. I am very rude. I'm disrespectful. You did my own day, my body. You tell me one, I tell you 10 in 1 minute. You need to accept it and then accept it that it is not healthy for the kind of life. I mean, look at people who are losing relationships simply because, this is my mouth. Oh, how do they talk? If you're that kind of person, now you know that behavior came from somewhere. All right. I mean, there's a lot I could have explained in all of this, but we have to work with the time we're given, right? And then now choose to pick up the new skills. Choose to be intentional about it. It won't happen overnight, but it's a process. And the moment you commit yourself to it, I guarantee you that in the near future, you'll discover that you are like a brand new person who is lovable, and everyone around you enjoys you as somebody who's graceful and who's somebody they want to be around. Thank you so much. This is what I can take within the time that I have. I hope it's been good use of your time. God bless you.
I love it, Coach Maisie. Oh, God of mercy. You know that I have a toddler. So when you were saying some things, I was telling myself, why is my husband not here? So I was writing as in very quickly, because the boy is a handful. God, he's
I
a handful.
know.
And then something, in fact, this morning he was doing something and I recorded. Yes, Coach Peace. Yes, toddler moms, how far? I recorded what he was doing and sent it to a friend of mine who is a psychologist. I said, this thing that this boy is doing now, I don't know. I was seeing it coming up. The anger meter was rising. But I was looking at him because he's going to turn 3 in a few days, in a few weeks, months. So I was looking at him and thinking, should I help him? Should I flog this boy? Or should I just help him? Should I flog him? So I calmed my life down. And I remembered when they say parenting is more about you than the child. So I calmed my emotions and I carried him, put him on my lap, and I said, you know what? What exactly is the problem? In his own toddler language, he was able to get it to me. And then I was telling myself, man, and they say I should have twins. With this one boy, twins. So I really love what you've done for us today. I really, God help me with my toddler. I'm going to go back and read on attachment styles. Everyone, you want to give Coach Maisie some love in the chat room because he has broken down some things that tells us why we behave the way we do. They say, go and do a lineage test and ask yourself, how were my parents? What did they do? How did they do? You cannot say because they beat you like an armed robber, you will not come and be beating your children like armed robbers. Do you understand? Parenting styles have changed. Please give him some love. And there was a question that Coach Peace put up. Let's quickly take that question now. My question is, how can you help someone like those who are unable to take initiatives, can't lead themselves, let alone lead others, especially when you have them on your team and it determines the performance of the whole team? How can you help them?
Excellent question. Thank you so much. So you see, if you followed the conversation, then you discover that not being able to take initiative is the fruit. It's not the root. Okay,
Yeah.
it's the leaves. Yeah, so you want to find out what is responsible for that lack of confidence, because it's actually a confidence thing. They don't trust their initiative. They don't trust it that it's good enough, or they don't trust that it will be accepted. They don't trust that it is valid enough. Why? Because over time, as toddlers, they were taught to be repressive. They were taught to not have a voice. And then now you're demanding a voice from them. What do they want to say? Imagine children who grew up in the kind of homes where they say a child is just to be seen, not to be heard. So you can't talk. My friend, keep quiet. Adults are talking. Well, get out from here. What are you doing here? You know, then you bring that person later and say you should take initiative. What? Doesn't know what that looks like, especially when the few times they tried it, they were sternly rebuked if it didn't go well, you know. So you want to find out from that person, where is that lack of confidence coming from? Sometimes until they're able to go down, you know, and treat it, you know, maybe they're able to think through their childhood and remember that, oh yeah, this was the kind of experiences I had, you know, growing up. And then you start building the confidence from there, letting them know that they are better than they think they are, you know, showing them their strengths and getting them to accept it, you know. So it's one thing to know that you have strengths. It's another thing to accept it and not feel like you're proud. You see, that thing that makes you think you are proud for accepting your strengths is not humility. We call it humility. It's not even, it's a kind of pride. You see, but they think that if I show up confident, it will mean that I'm proud. Why? Because they were never taught to be it right from time. Okay. So for that person, you want to start to show them their strength. You want to get them to accept that strength. You want to show, you want to get them to start saying affirmations about themselves, because it's very important. What those affirmations will do is that it will begin to counter the other voice that is telling them you're not good enough. So they are used to hearing, stop, don't say anything, quiet, nobody will listen to you. Now they need to start saying things that would chase those voices away and replace them. You understand? So that's what the affirmations will do. They'll tell themselves, I'm good, I'm lovable, I'm smart, I'm the best in the room, my opinions are valid, I have what it takes, right? So I believe if you do some of these things, it will help that person to begin to come up to that responsibility. And then and then when they bring suggestions, celebrate them. Don't just, even if it's not the best, don't just shut them down. You see, if you try that, they will lock up. for the next 20 years.
Yeah, so
You
good.
know?
I love it.
Yeah, so
I love
allow
it.
them
Thank
to try and then accept, what they are suggesting and what they're
you.
bringing up.
Praise
Yeah.
them. Yeah. Nice.
Mhm.
I love it. Okay, so another one is thank you, Coach Maisie. Infancy was great, attachment was good, but between 3 and 8, the African mom in me came out. Now he's very protective of himself and easily angered. What to do at this point to halt bad progression? He's 9.
What did you say? Is overly protective of himself? I didn't get that line.
Yes, he's overly protective of himself and easily angered.
You see, that anger is a message. Emotions are messengers. All right. So, what is the anger saying?
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Why do you feel angry about the fact that I told you to not play ball with your friends? There's something that anger is saying. Perhaps what is it saying? This woman just doesn't want what is good for me. Is it not children like me that are playing outside? What did I do to her that she's stopping me from playing with my friends? Is it a bad thing? You see, so something in him is telling him that maybe she doesn't want me. Maybe I don't just understand. I'm just confused. So it shows up as anger. You get that? If you're able to find what the message of that emotion is, then you'll be able to drill down to the root to know how to, now speak to the cause of that anger. But of course, nobody calms down by being told, calm down and calm down. Now, somebody is angry, you say, calm down. They're not calming down. So somebody's angry and you're telling them, you're always angry. What is wrong with you? This anger is what will kill you. This anger, the person will say, let the anger cuckoo kill me. But if you're able to find out what makes you feel this way and then discuss it with him and then reaffirm him, because in your question somehow lies the answer where you said that between 3 and 8 the African mom came out. So what did the African mom do? Right? What were the doings of that African mom that to an extent has impacted on his behavior and personality? If you're able to identify those things, was it something about the yelling, the beating, the spanking? Many times we parent like that because that's all the skill we have. Some of us
You
don't
do
even believe.
Yeah, that's what they say. When you do better, you do better. Yeah.
Exactly. That's all we know because that's what we experienced. When your child annoys you, give him a slap, right? Meanwhile, that same child, you can talk to them, you can teach them values and let them know consequences for not meeting up those values without necessarily using beating. So for the person who asked the question, if she identifies what that African mom in her was and what she did within those years, I could infer that approach probably made him to now be somehow repressive, and that's what is showing up as anger. All right. He's not an angry person, but there is a thinking that he's processing that makes him feel maybe not accepted, not validated. Why is she always beating me? Do you understand? So if you find out what is the message of that anger, then supply the opposite of it. So if he thinks he's not loved enough, supply affirmation, supply love. All right. Quality time, be with them, talk with them. And yeah, it's a lot of work, I know, but that's why parenting is not for children.
Okay, so I'm going to put a few parents on the spot now. Our VP, our past VP, Coach Peace, you want to just share something? There's a unique strategy or a unique story you have for dealing with, that toddler stage. I don't want to talk about toddler stage. Let me just give it to someone else to talk about it. Coach Peace, is there anybody else that would like to? If you would like to, please just let me know. Coach Folake says that listen to what he's not saying. There's message in behavior. Most parents throw tantrums to solve tantrums. So true. Then I'm looking for a comment that someone wrote here. Hawa said something. I was sternly rebuked. Now I talk. And now I talk, especially to the rebuker. So I guess it's learning the psychology of the child, the individuality. It is good to be told. It's good I was told to be quiet, but it was possibly or probably not good for my introverted sibling. Amazing. I have there's a podcast that episode that I have with someone talking about this, and it was something else. It was a mind-blowing episode. Truly, the individuality of a child. Beautiful. So is there any parent that wants to say something about this very quickly?
Since this is really putting me on the spot, oh. I really didn't want to speak or say anything. Toddler moms, how far? This stage. Oh my God. I'm sure, even me, I'm thinking, how did I show up on this webinar today? As in, I've been
Stumbled
off
on it, right?
I've been off everything, off Seka, everything, webinar, anything, nothing. In fact, showing up for my business is just a hacking task now. But to be very honest, I remember some time ago, we had a conversation with Coach Tega, and she says, oh, does our brother, so that's how she calls my son. My son and hers were born 4 months apart. Of course, Tega waited 10 years to have her son. I waited 7 years to have my son. So there is just a lot of connection between us, you know. So I remember some time ago, she was asking a question. She sent me a video and she said, does our brother do this as well? I said, sis, calm down. This WhatsApp group, I think we just need to learn and keep learning and keep learning. To be very honest, it is not for the faint-hearted. And so is every stage of their growing as they keep growing. You know, just when we felt like, oh, we have learned so much in our waiting period. I mean, I used to give myself a pat on the back and say, thank God I didn't waste my waiting period. I learned, I read books, I did this and that. They are two different things. Having the experience, real life, real-time experience. So to be very honest, just like Coach Maisie said, so they are here. So I had to run into another room to do this. But I mean, they are here and giving me water to drink. Thank you so much, baby. I'm grateful. You're welcome. Okay, so when Coach Maisie was speaking, I was understanding it from two different points of views. I'm a mom of a toddler who is 2 years and 7 months and an infant who is 8 months old. They all have different needs. And then I am also a foster mom to a child who just turned 11, who joined us from the village. I didn't know that I still had adverse childhood experiences until I started dealing with a child, until I started trying to be a mom to a child who joined us from the village. It is on a totally different level. Every day I ask myself, how best can I be a mom? Yes, I can open it for you. How best can I be a mom to this child, you know, and not create any adverse experiences for her that she will grow up as an adult and think, it was the worst time of my life having to live with this family. Sometimes I find myself even being more intentional towards her than towards my kids, you know. So this is just a very important conversation for me, because I'm just in that season of my life, you know, where too many things are all happening at the same time. But one thing I took away is when Coach Maisie was responding to someone who says, her child at 9 right now is being very protective and, you know, getting very angry often. So he said that is a response to something. So we need to find out what the issue is. What is the background issue? You know, so this is a huge takeaway from me. And I don't know how we selected today's speakers, but to be very honest, today's webinar is just amazing. Thumbs up, Seka Africa. Well done, OBK. You've just been doing an amazing work, reaching out to everybody, trying to bring out everybody to share from their wealth of knowledge. And I am so very grateful for this. To moms of toddlers and preteens and teens, at whatever stage you are, parents generally, not just moms, I say well done. It is not a small job at all. Well done. Kudos from here. In fact, plenty hugs from me to you.
Thank you, Coach Peace. Boss Peace, so good to hear from you. So Judith has a question. She says, my brother is 29, but lacks initiative. We've judged him really wrongly. But now I remember how it all came about. And this is what webinars like this do for you. This is why we ask people to come in, and this is why we ask people to come in, because it's free. What you would pay under normal circumstances, if all these coaches were to have this webinar, a paid one, it would be a lot. This is free. Get people to come in. Now I remember how it came about. My father never validated him. Then on the other hand, my mom was always trying to help him to do things. Everything mixes up, and now he struggles with initiative. He can't even leave the house because he's afraid he can't survive outside home. Now my mom considers him a burden because sometimes you're talking with him and he's deflecting. His upbringing was messed up. How do I help him? A person who was carried. Wow. How can she help?
Okay. You see, the real answer here is to introduce him to therapy, right? Because that's where the real work will be done. Because at this point it's tricky. If you say, let me just be giving him affirmation and be supporting and encouraging him, you might be an enabler some more, right? And then if you say, let me rebuke him, are you not a man? Your mates are married. You are also pushing him to the other extreme, So I think what you want to do is find ways to inspire him. And inspiration is a mix of, you can do it, you can be it if you want it, and that means you can't do it sitting down on the bed, So it's a mix of, you need to get up and take responsibility, but first you need to believe and accept that you can be it if you want it, right? So that's where inspiration comes in. You want to start by maybe talking about finding out if he has dreams, what his dreams are, start trying to paint pictures of the future with him. Because let me tell you one thing, vision is one thing that can wake up a sleeping man. When he has cause to catch a vision, like to see it, that I can be it, right? So you want to start painting those pictures and, and engaging him on that. You also want to identify what are the areas he is really good at already, okay? What is he good at? Some of those people are very brilliant, they just don't know where to apply it. They just don't know how to harness it, but they're sharp. Ask them any question to solve it. Take any challenge to them, they can fix it, but just within their space, right? So you want to find out, what is he already good at? Then begin to capitalize on those things and use those things to inspire him. Inspiration will do a lot here. When he gets to the point where he accepts to take full responsibility for himself, then therapy, all right? And trust the therapist to do what makes them to be bragging that they're therapists. Let them go and prove their work. Let them go and do their work. All right. But that's where you introduce him. But let him. So why I said you should inspire him first to get to the point where he takes responsibility is so that he knows that I need this therapy. See, I have paid for therapy for some people because I felt like they're not listening to me. Let them go and listen to another person. So I paid for them. Go. They went there. I said, Chimezi say I should come here. That's why I'm here. Do you understand? So anything the therapist is saying, they'll be looking at you. Have you finished, sir? That's not what's doing me. So they need to own the process. They need to know that I need this. That's where inspiration comes in. That's what I was talking about, that. And then taking responsibility. Then, because you are family, that's how you do it. They will not receive the message from you. Now push them to that therapist. All right. And then let's work on them. Let's work with them. Rather, I see someone said cognitive behavioral therapy. Exactly. That will be needed. And like I said, let the therapist do our therapy work. And the person should be fine after a while. Yeah.
Awesome. I love it. Please, can we just show Coach Macy some love in the chat room? Just appreciate him because you've saved us a lot of heartbreak, especially those of us that are just starting to bring up children. We are glad we know this. We are really grateful. Thank you so much. Thank you. We celebrate you. We appreciate you. Please share your social media handles so that if anybody needs to reach out to you, they can. So you can just put it in the chat.
I'll drop it in the chat room right now. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, sir. God bless you. And then we are done with this session. Thank you so much. And we are going to have a short break. However, we have someone from the Circa Africa team who is going to be talking about Circa Africa before we start with our next speaker. So, Circa. Okay, Coach Stella, are you in the house? Coach Mezi has put his social media handles. Please do well to follow and connect. Very importantly, very important to follow and connect. Connection is, remember what we learned in the first session, leveraging relationships. So connect now so that you can leverage later. Don't come and say, can you remember that month that you spoke on? I can't remember the name of the platform. Connect now. Coach Stella, are you here?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Coach Stella.
Yes, good morning. It's the afternoon already. Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, my colleagues here. OBK, shoots. Thank you so much, Coach Tega. You've been doing amazingly well. Well, I wasn't expecting anything less. Hi, Coach Ajachenemi. It's been a minute. How are you, ma? Okay, OBK, you have the floor. OBK, can
Yeah,
you
good
hear?
afternoon.
Okay.
Yes, I can hear you, ma. Good
Okay.
afternoon. So just by way of summary, the Pan-African is one place where we learn. At SECA, it's always a pleasure to create platforms that help businesses and individuals grow. If you look at the caliber of individuals on the call, that goes to show that we are particular about learning, and not just learning for the fun of it, but something practical and something hands-on we can work with. There are a lot of programs we've lined up this February and March. I will highlight some of them, and other information will be in the chat section. Last week, Saturday, was a good one at the Brand Community Mastermind Cohort 3. We had a packed room at the Transcorp. If you were at that meeting, congratulations. If you were not there, I'm sorry you missed a lot. We told you were going to miss a lot, and you have missed a lot. But this is what I would suggest. The next session coming up, please do not miss it. Next week, we're going to be having a special class for people who would like to have their staff, someone in their team, trained and certified as community managers. That is because brand community is special and core to what SECA does. And we believe that we need to start equipping people to become excellent at managing communities and doing it very, very well. The details will be in the comment section. That class is next week, and you should not miss it. Our mental health first aid classes will begin at March 1st, first week of March, the second week of March, the third week of March, just for mental health classes. So you may also have to take note of that and prepare yourself for that. Secondly, if you are very, very conversant with SECA, you discover that we take out a Saturday, usually at the middle of the month of the year, to bring businesses together. So you may have to start warming up for the BSG Summit. All the details will still come up later, but just a heads up that you need to start getting ready for the BSG Summit. And lastly, just by way of emphasis, that we asked you onboarding clients for our brand community design and development service. 3 clients are currently being serviced, and we are onboarding some more. We think you need brand community. We believe you do because we've seen it work so much for us. So if brand community is working so much for SECA, then it means it can work for you. Whether you are a mid-sized business or you are a very big business, the size doesn't really matter. The essence is in the quality and in the strategies you are bringing on board the community. So you may have to consider that. Just for those who do not know SECA, SECA is your first choice when it has to do with coaching, when it has to do with business processes, when it has to do with behavioral change certifications, when it has to do with your strategy. At SECA, we have the best. There's no mincing words about it. We have the best. We are Africa's best when it has to do with those areas. And over the years, we have built that reputation, that trust, that support, that competencies in those areas. So you can check us out online on social media at MySECAAfrica or at www.secaafrica.com. You get to know all about us and more of what we are doing. There's a lot happening, so you may have to follow us on Instagram to get to know a lot of things that are going on. We're rolling out classes, we're rolling out services, we are rolling out programs. Please do not sit on the sideline. Get involved, be part of what we are doing. If there's someone who is not here in the Pan-African webinar, you may have to call that person because the next speaker is explosive. He is explosive, and you wouldn't want that person to miss out. Thank you very much, everyone. I hand over to you, Ma.
Thank you, BK. Visuals will come later, Ma. Okay, you have the floor, Ma. Thank you for the opportunity. We can't hear you, you're muted.
Thank you, SECA Africa. Thank you, OBK. Thank you, Coach Stella.
Thank you, ma'am.
We know that SECA Africa listens to you. So please, it's very important that you connect. Go into the chat room and see how you can connect. I've been part of SECA Africa for the last 6 years, and I am
100 years.
SECA brought me out. SECA unveiled my life, and so I've been with SECA for the past 6 years, and I have not regretted my relationship and my involvement with SECA. Really, you need to get in. It's a very SECA is good people. Okay, so thank you. We're on to the next speaker, and it's Coach Folake. And please, today I really believe that the people that were brought in to speak it's an orchestration. It was not by chance. So please don't miss out. You follow through from beginning. Don't miss out on this one. It's the last one before we get into other things, and then we promise we'll be out of here at 2 p.m. exactly. Afolake Agumbiade is a dynamic and results-driven management consultant with almost 20 years of extensive expertise in management consulting, leadership development, and organizational transformation. As the lead consultant of Katsi Consult, Afolake spearheads initiatives that empower over 200 businesses and individuals to achieve strategic growth and operational excellence. With a deep understanding of organizational dynamics, Afolake excels in designing and implementing customized solutions that align people, processes, and performance with long-term business objectives. Her leadership at Katsi Consult is marked by a people-centered approach, fostering collaboration and innovation to solve complex challenges. She has a bachelor's degree in psychology, a certificate in customer service management from Rockhurst University, and a diploma from the Institute of Customer Service USA. She also has an MSc in organizational industrial psychology and is currently undertaking her PhD in organizational and industrial psychology. She's adept at leveraging data-driven insights as an astute organizational psychologist and best practices to drive measurable improvements in productivity and efficiency. With a passion for aligning people and processes to achieve organizational excellence, Afolake brings a collaborative and results-oriented approach to every project. Under her leadership, Patsy Consults have become a trusted strategic partner for organizations seeking strategic repositioning, capacity building, process optimization, leadership development, and ethical workplace cultures. Based on her dedication to triggering behavior modification and attitudinal change needed for professional growth, she is the convener of the Career Acceleration Summit and Community, the Upstart Business Community, and the Train the Trainer community, with over 500 members dedicated to providing capacity development and coaching opportunities for its clan members. Afolake is the author of 5 best-selling books: Customer Seduction, Undressing What Profitable Customers Really Want, and The Art of Small Talk, Creating Connecting Conversation. Help me understand my personality, help me chit-chat for teens and young adults, and help me master my emotions. Lastly, Afolake's unique ability to inspire and influence makes her a sought-after mentor, life and business coach, advisor to numerous high-profile individuals, and she's popularly known as the Acceleration Coach. She is a resident of the city of Abuja, and she's happily married with 4 children and 1 godson, which is mine. Welcome with me, Afolake Agumbiade, as she goes ahead to.
Oh my God.
Give her some love in the chat room. Some love.
Coach Tega, I'm sure that's not me you're reading my profile. That can't be me.
I was looking for what to take out. I was looking for, let me just shorten it, but there was nothing. Everything was valuable and valid, so I had to read it.
I'm trying not to blush. Thank you so much, Coach Tega.
But you forgot one thing. You forgot to add your godson. Don't forget, that's okay.
Okay, I apologize. She's the mother to 4 amazing giants and 1 amazing, adorable, handful godson.
Okay, so over to you, sister.
Thank you so much, Seka Africa, for this opportunity. I don't take it for granted. Thank you, OSP community. Thank you to everyone watching, joining from across the globe. I am so happy that I get this opportunity to be here. I must say it's been truly an engaging Pan-African webinar today. I've enjoyed every single moment. I came in just before 10 a.m. And I think that's also a learning curve for us who are in the knowledge economy, that whenever we are invited to speak, as much as possible, there's something someone needs to say to you that is going to add to the it factor that you call you. I can see all the love in the chat room. I love connections. I love reactions. Please, I'm going to need you to use your emojis all through this session. So click on your emojis, send your love, send your, oh my God, there's so much love in the chat room. Stella, I see you. Obike, I see you. Tommy Oni, I see you. Israel Ojwade, I see you. Seka Africa, I see Ojeb Cheme, Coach Ojeb Cheme, I see you. Wow, there's so much love. Coach Peace, I see you. Thank you to everyone joining us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Coach Bola, I see you all the way from the UK. I can see so many amazing people even joining me from my community. So the Career Acceleration community, thank you for coming in. So yeah, I'm sorry, Coach Ojo. I will cut it short. I apologize with the whole of my heart. I apologize. Coach Cheneme, I hope I got that right now. Yes, yes, yes. I don't have much time, but I'm going to try and make the best of the time I have. Do I have access to share? I think I do. Okay. Let me just share from the beginning. If you can see me clearly and you can hear me audibly, please send some emojis in the chat room. Let me know if you can see me clearly and you can hear me audibly so that I can go along. Now, the topic we're discussing today is one of my personal favorites. It is something that I can't talk about my trajectory as a professional, and I won't talk about customer experience or customer service. The management consulting firm I currently serve as the lead consultant and the lead coach came out of a passion for customer experience. And guess what? Many of the times when we hear customer service or we hear customer experience, we sometimes tailor it to only somebody running a business. So I want to break a bubble for everyone in the room. Are you aware that customer experience is a life skill? It is not a professional skill. No, it's not. If you are aware, say yes. If you are not aware, say no. In the chat room, let's keep it engaging. Let's keep it, let's use our chat room as much as possible. If you know that customer experience is a life skill and not a professional skill, it has nothing to do whether you are selling products or services. It is something that enhances the quality of your life. If you know, say yes. If you don't know, say no. It's okay not to know. Because I want to change our perspective to experiential living. That's what I call it. I'm not called the customer seductress for nothing. It is something that for most people, they don't know. Yeah. I wrote in my book, Customer Seduction, which I wrote about 5 years ago, and I put together a memoir of all of my service knowledge as a customer service instructor, as a trainer, as a social scientist who has a background in organizational psychology and human behavior, as someone who understands how behavior is formed and behavior is consolidated. We are all in the business of experience and of service. You know why? In every aspect of life, you are giving a service. If you're selling a product and you're not giving a service, there's no way your product will sell. Yeah? If you're in a relationship and you are not giving a service, there's no way the relationship will stand. If you're in a marriage and you don't have a service mindset, there is problem. You are a parent, you do not have a service mindset, you are in for trouble. You are around your mentors, like our first speaker said today, and you believe that, I've seen many people say, mentor me, mentor me. They have not taken a single course that I've done. You have not sat in rooms that I've been. You have not engaged my content. You don't share it, you don't like it. It's part of the service mindset. Yes. You do not have that ability to understand that in life you need to give to take from any sphere of influence that you're in, then you are never going to be successful. Yes, 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 yes. So today, when we're talking about the neuroscience of customer experience and how you can improve customer satisfaction, don't tailor it down to only your business. Hello, you're shortchanging yourself. Tailor it to your life. Tailor it with your relationships. Tailor it with your family. Tailor it with your siblings. Tailor it with your friends. I can 100% tell you that I'm a very valuable friend. My friends know. If I'm not valuable to you, not my friend, you're an acquaintance. Yeah. If I have any connection with you, either as a friend, a relationship, you are my client, I can boldly tell you that I've had clients that have been with me for 18 years and counting. I have, in my track record, almost never lost a retainership, unless maybe the client is now so good at what they do, they don't need me. I'm the one that will say, you know what? I don't feel good taking your money anymore. I feel that your systems and structures are solid enough. Can we leave the transactional relationship and become family? Have you seen that side? Where you tell people, I don't need your money anymore. I have people I've coached, I don't take their money anymore. They are my friends because they don't need me professionally. I need them to go be something to someone else so that I can help more organizations. I can help more systems. I can help more people. So the neuroscience of customer experience that we're discussing today, again, I say, you would be shortchanging yourself if you tie it down to only the product or service that you engage in. No, 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 no. If you're still with me and you are learning already, type 1 in the chat room. Type 1 in the chat room. Type 1 in the chat room. You have met me already, so I'm going to sweep away from that particular slide very quickly so we can really dig into what we need to do today. So why are we looking at neuroscience and its correlation with customer experience? And like I said, your customer is anybody and everybody. In this atmosphere of niching, a lot of times we miss out on the prototype of what a customer is. Yeah. We have used things like customer avatars to narrow down our mindset instead of narrowing down on our product offering. And that's where we get it wrong. Even when you are niching, your customer is everyone around you. Anyone that you exchange value for value, that's your customer. So if you give value to your partner, yeah, they are expected to give value back to you. Yeah. This identity or non-understanding that relationships are for mutual beneficiality, if there's a word like that. Relationships are meant to be mutually beneficial. Is not transactional. No, 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 no. If you have put value in you and you are churning out value, there needs to be something that is coming back. So how do you ensure that the value that comes out creates an experience that gets people coming back to you? Neuroscience is simply the study of the nervous system. Yeah, including emotions. And that's where it comes into customer experience, habits, cognitive biases that drive the brain, and anyone that is a customer that you're relating with. Now, there are 5 needs of any customer, be it the class they are in. So you might say, I do a 9 to 5. I don't really sell. I'm not in the marketing space. I don't need brand marketing. I don't need community marketing. Hello? We're all marketing ourselves. Stop deceiving yourself. We're all in the business of seduction. Because guess what? Your attitude, your conduct will always trigger an emotion in someone. And emotions trigger a perception of who you are. And that perception triggers their behavior to you, and it also affects your outcome. Yes. So I will tell you, I have never looked for a job. I think it was Coach Tega I was telling yesterday, I don't do open proposals anymore. It's not pride. I can't just be writing proposals and just be sending. Why? I don't understand. Because at the end of the day, science has proven that those things don't really work. The people who know your value will find you, even when you're under a rock. Because what? Nobody denies value. It oozes. It walks through transgenerational barriers. When people know that you represent something, they will look for you. People who know will tell other people to look for you. Your results will speak for you. Your visibility will speak for you. When I mean visibility, I mean real accounts of who you are, not the audio lifestyle, which is another, I don't want to go into that as a social scientist. But there are certain myths around it. But if you are faking it and a good opportunity now finds you because you have faked it so well, and there's no value to sustain that opportunity, the audio will drop you. Yeah. And the bad reviews will travel because experience is either bad or good. And they both have their own speed of trajectory moving. You see the good is a bit slower, but you see the bad, it moves at the speed of light. People are going to talk, especially in this world of social media, where once you mess up, you are in the court of social media. Thank you everyone for typing one. I can see the chat room is buzzing. The people who know you, who know your value will find you. Yes, they will. They'll find you through other people. They'll find you through your well-documented visibility of your actual track record. Not your amplified one, not your perceived value, but what you have the ability to deliver. Very important. So there are 5 needs of every customer. There's a particular customer service story I always like to share to break down these needs. And it's short, but it's so powerful. And I'll tell you why I'm telling this story when I get to some points in the presentation. When I was much younger, I had a hairdresser I used to love. You know, in my uni days, 100 level, 200 level. I was not a Jew girl like this. I had no sia, if you know what sia means. If you don't, then leave it. I didn't have much panache. I was just a young girl. So I had this salon I used to go do my hair, but unfortunately, she had to travel. So I went to her shop, and her shop girls were fighting each other over the head of a customer. And I was like, no. That's why I will tell you that I'm not the customer seductress by chance. I have always been a service advocate. When I see bad service, it crawls under my skin. It drives me cuckoos. I just said, no, I ain't doing this. And I walked out. Now, there's been a salon in my area that's been there for like a year, but never been in. Really pretty salon. So sometimes your aesthetics does not mean that people are going to be drawn to you. Yes, how good you look, how good your business smells. There are certain things it needs to invoke. I don't want to preempt myself. I'll still go into that. Beyond that, there is an experience that connects us to an emotional sensibility with our customers. For those of you that are asking why customer seduction, seduction is just to love and to charm, to gain acceptance, charm. We're only in the bit of charming someone. So I entered that shop because I had no option. And the first lady I saw in the front desk said, hello. This time I'm telling you is about 20 years ago. It's more than that, maybe about 25. And she said, hello, welcome to our hair salon. Can I take you to the waiting room? Imagine 25 years ago, somebody is telling you waiting room, hair salon. Guess what? Customer service does not stand in time. It evolves over time. If somebody was getting it right 25 years ago, do you think you can be mediocre, average, and not creating exceptional memories, and you will last in this competitive environment and the economy that we're currently in? You're in trouble. So she said, let me take you to the waiting room. I got there and I saw magazines. I'm a reader. I'm an avid reader. Always been an avid reader. Mary Claire. If you know those magazines, it means you're old. Ebony. And all those magazines used to have sessions where he would say, how to know he really likes you, how to know he's into you, how to trap a man and keep him there. All those kind of funny things we used to like to read way back in the day. So I just got engrossed. I started reading. I was like, wow, beautiful place, magazines. Wow. You can still feel, even after 25 years, the awe that that environment gave me as a young girl. While I was reading the magazines, the lady came in and she said, "Hello, ma'am." I said, "I'm not a ma'am, I'm a small girl. Would you like tea or coffee?" I said, "You see." She said, "Tea or coffee?" I said, "Sorry, how much do you make here? If you were in my position, wouldn't you ask?" I'm a young girl now, 100 level. I said, "How much would you make here? If you were asked, type yes, I will ask in the chat room." She said, "That's not a problem. Tea or coffee?" I said, "You better tell me how much you make here, or I get up and be going because I don't want to wash your towels." And she laughed and she said, "Okay, ma'am." I said, "Stop mumming me. Okay, sis, this is how much we make here." And guess what? That day, my sugar daddy, my daddy, who loves me so much, had just given me my alawi to go to school. So I had a bit of cash with me. And the extra from where I would normally do my hair is 1,000 naira. So I said, "Come on now. I can afford this luxury. This is like the life." I said, "Coffee, please." She said, "Cookies or cake?" I said, "For 1,000, I'll have both." And she started laughing. And she brought it. I was enjoying my magazines, taking my coffee, having my cake and my cookies. Then I realized I've not seen the hair they do in that salon. I've gone far. I say, "My God, I've drank this coffee already. There's problem." So I said, "Please, can you allow me go into the salon?" She now said, "Oh, she's even ready to take me in. It's just that they don't like the salon being crowded because when women gather, they make a lot of noise." You know, we gossip a lot in salons. Yeah. Many of us use our salon and beauty time as therapy time. You're talking to a random stranger who's not going to quote you, who doesn't know you from Jack, and you can unburden yourself. So I said, "Wow, interesting." Went in and they could do fantastic hair. Long story short, they did my hair. Before I finished, she came, she said, "Please, can I book you for your next session?" And I said, "Your braids will be old in like 6 weeks." I said, "I'm a young girl. 6 weeks is too short. We used to carry it for 3 months." And she laughed. And she said, "Okay, can we book you for like 2 months? Then we'll reach out to you." And she took my details. Do you think I went back to my Auntie BC shop? I never did. I never did. There's no way. If you will go back, type "I will go back." Type "if you will go back." As I'd been doing my hair from when I was a child in that shop. And I saw an experience that blew my mind. I never went back. And trust me, that's how customers dump you. Because you are not deliberate in curating the emotion. You think you have loyal customers. And because of that, you are not giving it to them back to back. If you don't give them, how will they take it? You are not engaging them. You are not in their lives. You are not making sure that your customer experience systems are targeted to surprising and wowing your customers. You are not going to last. The only way you last in business is when your customer comes first. When customers come first, customers last. That is Folake Agubiade telling you basic background of customer experience. So whether you are my friend, you are my husband, you are not giving it to me back to back, how do you think I'll last? It's not possible. You are not all up in my business. You are not there for me when I need you. How do you think I'm going to sit down there? I'm on your space, another one we take. Yeah. And don't be angry. We're in a cancel culture. This current world we live in shows no mercy. They move on to the next. So, what are the needs of your customers? My time is running so fast. If you're learning and you're enjoying the session, type yes in the chat room. What are the needs of your customers? I'm going to unroll all the 5 of them, and I'll tell you why. The first need your customer has is service. Beyond any other thing is not price. Can you see prices after? If you listen to that, my story, it wasn't price for me. It was, I was treated like a baby girl. I like soft lifestyle. Even when I didn't have, I've always liked soft lifestyle. I'm still liking it, and I'm still praying that I have enough to live it the way I would like to live it, you know, and just enjoy myself. It's not price. Most times people are willing to pay more if the service is fantastic. So how on earth are you selling a product without a service? And you think you will sell, especially if it's an exclusive product. It needs to have service layered on it, back to back, if you know what I mean. Then when the customer now looks at the price, they'll now want to check the quality. So quality is number 3. I'm not saying you should sell bad quality product. For all of you that say, I'm not perfect yet, I'm not perfect yet. Guess what? If you get the price right and you give the service well, people are willing to put quality at number 3 and allow you grow into it. Yeah. If your price and service are good, memorable, deliberate, they're willing to take a chance on you, even though you're starting small. Those of you that have refused to move, that's a word for you. It's time to move. Sit down with a strategist. Get a coach. Seka Africa has abundance of coaches, from the elite coach down to the sub-coaches. I'm a product of Seka Africa coaching, Subka coaching. I'm a Subka life coach. So I can tell you that there are enough coaches that will help you distill how to get the price right, how to package your service. As your quality begins to go up, because the thing about quality is you need to keep, it's a work in progress. Your quality does not stay at a certain level because we're in an evolving economy. Your quality needs to keep upgrading as you go on. Yeah. Action is the next thing your customer wants. Do it and do it now. Give it to me now. Because hope deferred makes the heart weary. That's a scripture. You are promising, but you never deliver. Under promise and over deliver is exceptional service. And the last part, which sometimes we forget to do, is appreciation. They gave me money, so I shouldn't say thank you. No, hello, you will thank me. You will thank me for money spent as a customer. I will thank you. If I receive an invoice payment, I send a thank you note to my client. Even though I am 100% sure they got value. I just borrowed you that one. They be like, madam, that money that we paid, we did not pay money. I've had them sometimes even freaking my account on a personal note. Like, we didn't pay enough. Why are you thanking us? It is a strategy. Gratitude provides doorways to more opportunities. I say, if you bury your pride as a service person, you don't get in this indigestion. It is a platform to higher doors because they are gatekeepers of doors. We learned in leveraging today. Yeah, there are people who are gatekeeping doors. They are gatekeeping doors. I've had the biggest deals I've ever done been given to me with clients who were small, but I took their matter seriously. And they'll tell you, the only thing I've done differently in my business is this woman. She's my secret weapon. I've had someone take me into the biggest brand, retail brand in Nigeria, and say, this is my secret weapon. She needs to work with you. And that door was opened effortlessly. Effortlessly. So why are you not living the service lifestyle? Why? Why? I can see the responses. I can see the anti-BCK. I love that, anti-peace. Oh my God, that's so sweet. So that's what a customer needs. And we're quickly going to understudy this very delicate part of neuroscience. How does the customer's brain make decisions? There's systems 1 versus systems 2 thinking by Daniel Kahneman. You can go look at that theory. It's such a powerful one because it gets you to understand how emotional connections are made. The entire theory of customer seduction is tied to this theory. Systems 1 is fast, emotional, unconscious. You are giving a service is very fast. it's emotional, and it's unconscious. What happens when you give that service that way? It's very fast, it's prompt, it is emotional, it connects to your customer. And you do it not mechanically, you do it from a habit of practice of the service lifestyle. That is why as a psychologist, there are people I don't hire for certain roles. They are not wired that way. They are going to struggle. It will be conscious and it will be forced. And the customer knows, we all read nonverbal communication, that this person is not sorry when they are saying sorry. They're saying sorry, sir, but they're like, sorry, you're very stupid. If not for this CCTV camera now, I know what I would have done to you. Yeah. When you do that, it works automatically and quickly without little effort, because you are prompt in your response, you are emotional, and you do it from an unconscious wiring. You have trained your mind, your processes, your behavior to treat your customers a certain way. It works like magic without little effort. And it is driven by past experiences, emotions, and intuition. If somebody has ever treated you right, when you see good service, there's a way you react. Yeah. It's not even on your foundation. An example is a customer instantly recognizes a brand logo and feels a positive experience. You can't see CatSync logo and not feel a positive experience. Yes, I can categorically say that. It's very difficult for you to feel a negative experience. You can meet me as a person and jump into conclusions because I'm quite tall. And people can assume that because I'm quite tall, I'm very intimidating. But if God gives me the ability to connect with you, talk to you for a few minutes, you will fall in love with me. Yeah. And that changes the perception. So sometimes your brand comes off in a certain way. But what kind of system are you using to elicit what you're looking for? System 2 is slow, rational, and conscious. This requires attention and effort for complex decisions. Used when customers are comparing products and services before purchasing. A customer carefully evaluates product specifications before buying a laptop. So you can use both systems to create emotional connection. Sometimes you just need to flash it in people's face. Let it come from your spontaneity. Let it come from your innovation. And there are other times where you need to be a bit more strategic because of the organization that you are trying to engage. That is why you need to do research. You need to do research. You need to do research into that person. You need to understand their personality so that you can tailor your offering to get the results that you want from that interaction. So it requires your attention from your proposal to your touch points, to your colors that you use for the slides, to your presentation, to the certain storytelling that you use to connect. Because there's a more complex decision to be made, you need to bring forth your strong arguments. Because they are both emotional customers and they are logical ones. No matter how emotional you try to put on, their cholerics do not respond to emotions. Sanguine and melancholy, yes, but you see cholerics and flare, they waste your time. You need to bring forth a strong argument. That is why you need to do a lot of branding, positioning, visibility for certain clients, certain relationships, certain connections that you want to achieve. The customer's brain. The customer's brain. How are decisions made? My time is almost up, so I'm going to go a bit faster. Customers make decisions emotionally. In most cases, when the experience is rapid. Then they justify it with logic. You know, here now, some of you are here, sanguines are in that WhatsApp group. You go to the market to go and buy a black bag, like I went shopping yesterday, and you came back with a red shoe, a pink belt, a purple, and your logic is, it is buy one, get one free, bug off. You would justify it with logic later. You came to Seka Africa to buy one course, and you hear there is a discount, 50% discount. If you pay today, you get this. They would have paid. Then they would justify it that, oh, there was a, see, I'm giving you some of the, let me not talk. OBK is smiling at me. Let me not give it out how we do these things. We know how we do it. You not justify it with logic that you have done. Also, customers' emotional connection influence their brand loyalty. When you connect to a brand emotionally, not just casually, you attend to, you are most likely able to be loyal to that brand over time. Positive emotions like trust, happiness are emotions that drive brand loyalty. If a business cannot trust you, if a partner cannot trust you, if a friend cannot trust you, they can't be loyal to you. You know why? Write this one down because you need to let it sink. Hit your keypad. Loyalty has expiry dates. Yes. No matter how much people love you, no matter how much people are vested in you, when they stop to feel trust, happiness, all the happy hormones that drive their connection to you, they will leave you, no matter how much they want to be there. Negative emotions, frustration, confusion, anger, I didn't put it there, drives customers away. Because customers don't just get angry, they start from confusion. They're confused as to why you are not giving what you promised to give. Then they become frustrated. Levels of anger. Then they move to full-blown anger, unless they have mental health challenges. Yeah. They're dealing with trauma, PTSD, and so many other things. Then the anger can come out from nowhere. But any emotionally stable person will start from confusion to frustration, then to anger. That's what drives your customers away. In any form, in any relationship you are, that's what drives them away. It's not by chance. Yeah? The release of dopamine, like I said earlier, is what creates rewarding customer experiences. When people come around you and you give consistent service, they fall in love with you. Personalized interaction. You jump into it. There are certain clients that even though I have a suit, my C's don't deal with them. Yeah. In fact, if I'm in a meeting and their call comes in, I will say, don't pick that call, bring it. Hello, I'll call you back, sir. Apologies. I'm in a quick meeting. And they're like, fine. They call me at 12 midnight. I pick the call. I'm a married woman. Yes, I am. But my husband understands the science of what I do. And I'm like, sir. And he's like, I'm profusely sorry. I need you to be in this meeting tomorrow morning. And I'm like, it's not a problem. Can I speak to Oga? Can I apologize? It's not necessary. Those kinds of responses, personalized interactions, make them keep coming back. They won't go elsewhere. Not everybody can give you that kind of response and attention. That's why I'm called the customer seductress. You are anticipating the customer's needs before they even know they need it. That's why iPhone will continue to sell iProducts, Mac products. They will look for a way to create something you need again before you even know you need it. They anticipate it. They don't play catch up. They are ahead. Proactive service. This is what the trends are looking like. I would recommend that as we're doing this strategic planning, I just did a strategy plan for one of the top NGOs in my city. And because I did my research well, I was able to tell them that, look, these are the things. I know you have been doing this. But if you're going to be relevant in 10 years, you can't go in this direction. We need a redirect. And they went after the first, they went to do their research. They say, wow, my God, do you think that client will leave me? It's not possible. That ability to anticipate, Then the power of habit formation. Make yourself an habit in the space of that you play in. Repetitive positive reinforcement builds brand habits. It can be a one flash wonder. Repetitive, back to back. Yes. The consistency you had with customer 1 must be the consistency you display with the 50th customer. If not, you're going to be in trouble. I'm going to skip this because I don't have time. And I would personally like to say that if you really want to jump into this experience, we're going to be having a customer service clinic next month on the 22nd of March. You might want to be in the room. That's when we'll deeper into the neuroscience. How do you now apply it to every single detail? You map it, emotional connections, into your products and service offering. When you come to the customer service clinic, we can jump into that. We can help you with that. I'm not going to jump into all of that here because it's just 40 minutes. And I can't do that. I would love to, but I can't. So how do you build trust through neuroscience? Oxytocin is the emotional, is the hormone that contributes to the feeling of connectedness and closeness with others. You can elicit it by 1, being transparent and honest. Don't be dishonest in your relationships. Customer, be honest. If you have a challenge, let your client know that there is a challenge going on. What it does is that they feel included, even in your struggles. Yeah, it doesn't make you weak. Contrary to the opinion, you just need to practice what is called selective vulnerability. You are honest and transparent, yet you're not losing your steez and your composure. There is an art to it, yeah, where people can connect to your struggles as to why you need an extra week for that deadline. If you know, you know. If you don't know, I won't say forget about it. Find a way to know. Deliver on promises and human connections through your tone of voice and body language. In this generation of machine learning, machine service, there is a need to use human connections to get what you need. Let me check the chat room. Oh, I can see the yeses. I'm falling in love with you again now. Wow. I love it. Thank you, Peace. I love it. There are powerful engagements that you can use sensory cues to deliver. So I'm going to just be touching on the customer seduction and the 5 senses. How do you use your 5 senses? If you don't have my book, Customer Seduction, then you are not doing yourself something. You need that book. Do I have a copy here? You need that book. It's on Amazon. It's on Seller. If you want to get it, reach out to Seka. Seka can get that book. Put it in your hand. I have a chapter there on customer service and the 5 senses. How do you use the 5 senses in any customer interaction? Visually, auditory. What do people hear when they hear about you? What do they hear about your brand? Those of you that say, I don't care what people say about me. Perception management. I don't have to make excuses for anything I do. It's okay. It's empowering. But sometimes, should you even do it? That's the question. In some cases, all things are lawful, but not all things are expedient. Because social media puts pressure on us to put everything out there. Sometimes we put out things that are not going to make what people hear about us sound good. We put it out there thinking we're just, being us. You need to manage visual, the colors you wear. There's a reason why I'm wearing red. That's customer seduction color. I didn't wear black. Because there is a connection, the design, the branding. If you go and check all of Katzin Consult's materials, there's a certain touch. If you go to our website, there's a certain touch. We suck you in with a calmness. Yeah. is very deliberate. It's not incidental. It's not something that happens by chance. It's curated, auditory. There are times when you see me, I'm on my TikTok, or I'm dancing. I'm trying to tell you, look, beyond the strong girl who stands in the boardroom, I've got a social side. If you want to hang, we hang. We talk business while we hang. I have a fun side. There's a reason why I put out my spiritual content. I get back in. I don't walk alone. You try me, you see my God. It is part of the packaging. It's a full package. I went for a retreat and they were saying, we were having an activity. People were saying, oh, things that people don't know about you. And the CEO said, let me tell you guys one thing you don't know about Mrs. Afolake. And I was wondering what he was going to say. He said, do you know she's a pastor? Everybody was like, wow. And I looked at him, he said, I follow you. I follow you. I'm on your status. I said, okay, job done. It also tells you that there are boundaries. There are certain things you can't try with me. I don't roll that way. It's subtle, so that when we have meetings, you will not offer me certain things. When we have certain conversations, you will not push certain things to me. You know where I stand. You at least will know what this woman will take, and she will not take. So you will align yourself. I've had clients who have certain habits, who medicate. When they're around me, they don't medicate. You see them, they'll compose themselves. They say, you don't like this thing now. I have therapy clients, I have coaching clients, who when they get into my office, they decide on the side of them they want to show up. So it makes my work easier. These are part of the footprints of your brand that you're sending auditory. What do people hear about it? Is my time almost up? Please let me know. I think it's almost up. Tactile. What do people feel about your business? What's your digital footprint? How does it feel? Yeah? Smell. You are in hospitality, you are in food, you are in branding, all of these things. How does your brand smell? How do you smell? If you are the brand, how do you show up? When I enter a room, people will know I've come. There are certain things. When I want to go and see deals, I use them. They're not my everyday saints, but there's a way I want to smell that day because I want to confuse you. And I'm not sorry. Taste. Positive experiences create strong brand recall. Experiential marketing is what the neuroscience of customer seduction gives you. And thank God, Seka is such a strong brand in that. It increases brand loyalty. It increases brand awareness, higher rates of customer satisfaction, trust. I've discussed this, so I'm not going to sit on it. I'm not going to sit on it. So I said earlier that there's a reason why I told that story. Storytelling is a crucial element in customer experience. If you're using neuroscience, you must be a storyteller. You don't know how to tell stories, go and learn. You're a coach, you're a trainer. You can't tell quality stories. And the stories have to make brain. You can't just be telling stories. You know, in 1952, you know what happened in 1952? 1952. No. It needs to link and tell a story at the end of the day. It activates particular and multiple brain areas when stories are being told. If none of you leaves this training without a single thing, trust me, you will not forget my hairdresser, Auntie BC, and how I dumped her for a new person. You will remember. It helps customers relate emotionally. So how do you use storytelling? Customer success stories, experiences that you've had, brand origin. I told you where my brand started from, customer experience. And we evolved into providing systems, structures for organizations. And it helps you create emotionally driven campaigns. Key takeaways for today: emotions drive decisions. You cannot deliver an experience without an emotion, either negative or positive. So choose one. Choose today which one you want to be given. It reduces stress and friction, improving retention when you are able to connect to the neuroscience of customer seduction. Personalized and storytelling enhances customer loyalty. Personalization and storytelling enhances customer loyalty. Trust and sensory engagement are key to memorable customer experience. And lastly, apply all of these insights into every area of your life. Yes, every touch point of your business, of your relationship, of your friendships, of your service, of your product. Thank you. Those are my social media handles. If you would like to connect with me, please do. And this is our customer service clinic that is coming next month. If you want to really sit down and jump into some of these things, then you should be in the room. It's both virtual, and physical. If you're in Abuja, I'd love to see you in the room. You can connect with us on any of our social media handles to get more about the class. Thank you, everyone. Coach Tega, back to you.
Come on now. Come on now. Somebody put in the chat,
so
your
much, Ma.
energy is fire. Yes. Your energy
Thank you,
is
Coach Tega.
fire. That's what Judith said. I love it. Thank you so much, Coach Folake. I thought I'll see much more fire in the chat room. You want to put your best emoji. Appreciating everything that we learned here today. Yes, so there's no
Ma, I
way I
think you
won't.
should leave the slide on.
Okay.
Oh, I should leave it on?
Yes, Ma.
What on the customer service clinic?
Yes, please.
Awesome. Okay. Please. Even me, I'll be in that room that day. I know I'll be in the room anyway, but I want you to, I'm just reaffirming that I'll be in the room. It is on a Friday. Just be in the room. It's on a Friday. Friday is low work day. So you should be in the room. Love it. Love it. Thank you. The emojis are coming in. There's no way I won't connect with you. Thank you so much, Ma. We have a question though. Someone says, how do you ensure that loyalty doesn't expire?
You have to keep creating experiences, experiential marketing. You have to keep upping your service game. Yes, that's what keeps people married for 60 years. Contrary to the opinion that, we have enduring marriages. In this new generation of young people, if it's not working, they jump out. If your customers are not getting value back to back, if you're not redefining your service culture to upgrade to the times that we're in, loyalty will expire. Yeah, you need to be co-creating with your clients, with your relationships, to know what they want and give them what they want. Like the rule of customer service says, the golden rule: treat people not the way they like to be treated, but the way they want to be treated, or the way they don't expect to be treated. That is the way you ensure that loyalty does not fade. You keep blowing their mind. If you have a friend that they are always there for you, when it's happy times, they're there. When it's sad times, they're there. When it's trying times, they are there. There is no way you will walk away from, unless you are an ingrate. And the truth is, you will be the one that will lose. You will still come back. I've had clients that maybe because they were ill-advised, they decided to cut off. I usually tell my staff they'll be back. And in 2 years, one came back in 2 years. My COO she was just shouting. Mona said, sis, you said it. You said they'll be back. I said, I know. Because what I do, they can't get it anywhere else. Yes. Yes. So you need to keep upping your game. I hope that answers your question. Coach Tega, are you there?
Awesome. Yes. I love it. Beautiful. So do we have any more questions? I'd love to take questions before we move on to the very next thing. The emojis are, they're showing you so much love in the chat room. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Oh my God. You need the book. Reach out to Seka. They will definitely put the book in your hand.
Yes, I
Reach
think
out to Seka.
they put up something already. And Coach Stella has put up something there, the number that they should reach out to. So please reach out there. And then thank you all so much. While we go on to the next item on the agenda, Coach Stella, is that you or is it going to be OBK? A short book review of the Marketing Without Budget.
It's OBK again.
Okay, thank you. You go ahead.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. I can see the love in the chat room. Thank you,
So much love.
Ojo, Coach Ojo. Thank you.
Done. Well done. Thank you, Coach Folake. We really appreciate every single thing that you put out here. And if you're not in the customer service clinic, you're sitting on a bicycle. Sleeping on a bicycle. So over to you, OBK.
Okay, I want to confirm that you can see my screen. Can you?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So, Marketing Without a Budget, I'm sure you must have heard about it. You must have read it. It should be in your library by now. And if you have not gotten your copy yet, you should have your copy. Why? Because if you watch Coach Sam and the trajectory he has taken, you will discover that Marketing Without a Budget is foundational. And if you watch what he's been discussing on his platforms, you will realize that brand community is a lifesaver, is the lifeblood. And you cannot run a successful business in this day and age without brand community. Marketing Without a Budget is more like foundational, but then you need to get those basics. So straightforward, you need Marketing Without a Budget. Why? Because it will help you understand every other thing Sam has been doing lately, and it will help you understand the path and trajectory that Seka have taken, particularly in 2025. And so this is your invitation to join us and join our growing clientele of people who are enjoying our brand community design and development service. We are currently working with a very big policy organization on brand community, and it's been a wonderful experience. Everyone that was at the room last week will realize that brand community is beyond just what we think it is. It's deeper, it's more experiential, and it's something else. And you wouldn't want to be left out. And then lastly, I'm going to, next week, Sunday, we're having an event for the women. Because March is a Women's Month, we want to take our time to properly celebrate women. And so we're discussing the women and their mental health next week. And it's important that you are in that conversation. It's going to be a panel discussion plus other activities, but most importantly, we are focusing on women and their mental health in several areas, whether they are grandmothers or mothers or young adults, young women, no matter the category or the stage of womanhood, our focus is on the women. So please join us next week. And lastly, just to follow up on this, I would like to share another announcement. And okay, so for everyone who would like to get to know more about building a successful brand, you should be in this class next week. It's happening Tuesday 25th and Wednesday 26th next week. and that would be on how to become a South Africa community manager. It's a lot of work. I can tell you that for free. It's a lot of work. But then beyond that, what are the other dynamics that can help you become an amazing community manager? So you may have to do that. All the details on the screen. Ensure that you pay for someone, get yourself in the room yourself, ensure that you become better. And of course, there are a lot of incentives that goes with it. All the details are in the flyer on the screen. Lastly, I am sharing my screen for the last time, please. Okay. Engage 360 is your go-to service. What it does is that it takes from you that, I won't call it a burden, but it helps you become more better when it has to do with designing your service. So this is more like you invited us to come and be a part of your brand community design and development. So from scratch, from the iteration to the curation to several processes, you are sure that you have that partner that will always be there helping you every step of the way. So you have all the details on the screen. Reach out to us and let's get talking. The good thing is that brand community works. It works. If it has been working over the years and it has worked for us, then it can work for you. Thank you everyone for showing up. We are grateful. Thank you. Coach Tega, is back to you, ma.
Thank you very much. It's amazing. Thank you, OBK, for that presentation. Thank you, Coach Stella. Thank you, Circa Africa. We have actually, we're done with the speakers. So we're going to just be doing a very quick recap of what you learned. Someone just put in the chat room. I just want, from each speaker, just write what you learned and I'll be reading it out very quickly. Let's just be sure that people were actually taking action notes. Coach Folake has put in her details in the chat room for connection. Please don't forget to connect and also leverage. Okay, so what you learned from the first speaker, the second speaker, the third speaker, in no particular order. I just want to be sure that we have made good progress today and people have learned things that they can run with. That is the essence of having these webinars. So what did you learn? I can go first. In fact, we also learned from Honorable Justice Mabel. That was really beautiful. I loved that she came in and dropped gold, even though she wasn't prepared. And this is what it's meant to be. Stay prepared because you never know when you'll be called. Okay, Taufik Lawal, thanks for the presentation. Appreciate it. Okay, OBK says that my takeaways from patients, barrister patients, they are strategic gatekeepers. Leverage them, get into the room ethically. There is something she said that I loved so much. She said, when you meet someone and you connect with them, maybe you take their card, yeah? Make sure you connect within the first 48 hours because at least they can remember the last 48 hours and how you met. Make sure you connect and don't call a person immediately you have their phone number. Just send them a message. And this, I'm such an advocate for this. I will send you a message. Is this a good time to talk? Can I call? It can be offensive. It can be offensive when you have someone's number, you see them on WhatsApp, and then the next thing you're calling them on WhatsApp. It can be offensive. WhatsApp is personal. So some people will not give you their WhatsApp numbers because they don't want you to just invade their privacy. That stood up for me with barrister patients. Anybody else? She said something, everything God created is for leverage, including you. Take notes on points that resonate with you, not just what the speaker says, but many of us are like this in church. If you see the notes of people in church, they're just writing. When you now check it later, or if like one day I had to ask someone in church, I say, have you ever gone back to any of your notes to read? You say, when I need the situation, I will just go and know that it's there. I said, okay, it's well with you. So don't always write verbatim what the speaker says. Write what it is that resonates with you. And that's like an action point. What you cannot define, you cannot modify. That stood up for me. And then she said something that I'm still going to ask her about. She said, when you face obstacles, when it comes to leveraging, we should call her. Why did she not teach us? But we'll still call her. So you need her social media handles. Please reach out to her if you find obstacles when you are dealing with this. Coach Obike says, Coach Chiemezie says, several habits expressed in adulthood are deeply rooted in childhood experiences. So true. So true. Deeply rooted in childhood experiences. And many of us don't even know that. That's why in therapy, the first few questions that your therapist will ask you is, tell me about your childhood. You'll be wondering, why are you asking me about my childhood? What happened? I can't remember. Because we know that there are some things that can be traced to some behavioral patterns that can be traced to your childhood. So important. Another thing that stood out to me, okay, now let's talk about Coach Mabel. She says, it is not one, Honorable Justice Mabel Bello. She said, it's not one strike that brings a tree down, and you never know which one it will be. Keep at what you're doing, never get tired of striking. Building yourself is never a waste. You never know. Every time we just be like, I'm tired, I'm not going to go. But that one more step can be the step that will just kick the door open for you. Never stop building yourself. Never get tired of striking. Coach Maisie says, some people don't know that their traits unhealthy. Stop attending to the fruits, but attend to the roots. Always attend to the roots, because if the root is alive, it will keep bringing leaves and just keep bringing fruits. Make sure you attend to the root. Emotional availability is so key in a child's life. It's so important. Every time I put my camera off, I went to check on my toddler to be sure that, he's okay. I just needed to just go and check and to connect. Let him not think, oh, mommy is always working. And so once she's working, life ends. I had to keep going there, check on him, hail him a bit, give him a high five, give him a hug. Emotional availability is key. And we all need to go back and read on attachment styles so that you will know exactly where you're coming from and what you do with your children. Tommy says, Honorable said, keep building myself for posterity. I love it. Obike says, Coach Folake says, when the customer comes first, the customer will last. That made a lot of sense. Okay. Another thing that stood out with Coach Mezier, he says, choose to pick up new skills and be intentional about it. When you first accept that you are in a particular place, these are the negative traits that you have. Accept it first. Don't avoid. Don't deflect. Accept it. Then choose to pick up new skills and then be intentional about them. It's one thing to pick them up, it's another thing to be intentional. You never feel like doing anything until you do it. So if you just say that, oh no, when I feel like it, I'll go, you'll never feel like it. But when you get up to go, you'll see that you'll feel like it. Tommy says the importance of cultural capital and how to key into it and leverage. I'm sure that came from Barrister Patience. Then Coach Folake says customer service is a life skill. I was waiting for someone that was going to say that. Customer service is a life skill. I held on to that. Listen to Coach Folake a countless number of times. I can never get used to listening to her. If you are going to live with people, you must adopt the customer service, nuggets that she dropped. Your customer is everyone you exchange value for. Imagine saying that even in your marriage, you are actually exchanging value. So everybody brings what they bring to the table. So anyone that you're exchanging value for value, and I've seen that in her life, she's very consistent in all of her relationships that I know about. That's why I said most. The relationship that I know about, she's like that. That's why when it's time for people to show up for her, you see people always show up, because she's adopted this in her personal life, and this is what she's calling us to. Another thing she said is value oozes. The audio will drop you if you don't level up. The next thing I love the way she said, appreciate your customers. Sometimes we think I'm giving value, you're paying me for the value. What am I saying thank you for? That one I have taken note of. Instead of just saying receipt acknowledged and sending them a receipt, you should also appreciate them. Loyalty has an expiry date. And don't forget that emotions are important. Emotions drive decisions. So even when you're telling your stories, make sure they are relatable and they're able to elicit emotions that will drive their decision to work with you. Those were all of my takeaways, and I hope that you had yours. I'm grateful and I appreciate all the people who have written what they took away. Yeah, Coach Chiemeze says emotions are messengers. So it's very important. Thank you for putting in what you learned. Tommy says, Coach Maisie says, every adult behavior has a childhood experience in it. Yes. That's why we always talk about adverse childhood experiences when people are exhibiting, this empowering traits. Beautiful. I love it. Thank you also very much. And we have come to the end of the webinar. However, we are going to be taking closing remarks from our octopus, Dr. Sam. If he's not here, who is supposed to take that? Coach Stella? Coach Stella, over to you. Thank you.
I'm here, ma. Can you hear me? You're muted, ma.
Yes, we can. We can hear you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for coming to our first webinar for the year 2025. Please make it a date with us. We'll have another one next month and it'll be announced to you. If you're not following us on any of our social medias, on any of our social media platforms, please follow us at MySECA Africa with a double A. MySECA Africa, one word, on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you. I hope we have added a lot of value to you and we'll even do more. We even do more on our social media platforms. Please follow us and enjoy all the value. Remember that, according to my very own Oga, customer seduction, not the other one, customer seduction is a life skill. That's the one I like. That I have always loved. The first time I met Coach Folake, that was the first thing I heard, and that was the first thing I fell in love with. So remember to, in all areas of your life, remember that seduction is a way of life. I hope that makes sense to you. Have a very wonderful, a pleasant weekend. Thank you so much, Coach Tega, for always answering when we call. Thank you so much, ma. We don't take your love for granted. Thank you, everyone, for loving us. Coach Ojachenemi, I hope you're back in Nigeria. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good weekend. And to my colleagues, Obike, Korede, and to our speakers, Coach Maisie, I still see you. Barrister is not here anymore. I think she's back in her session. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you to our very fantastic speakers. Thank you for bringing us a lot of value. And please, if you want to join, join our pool of speakers, please reach us on 08073610884. I've dropped that in the chat room before, but my colleagues will do that again. Remember that with SECA, we bring you a lot of value. Thank you so much and enjoy your weekend. Bye.
Bye, everyone. See you next month.
See you next month.
Bye. We love you.
Thank you so much, sir.